straight through him. And Samaya is the second wicket in the first over. 1 for 2. Samaya out without scoring. That one slipped back, I think, didn't it?
Yeah, this looked a good ball. It's come a long way, actually. Yep. I think it swung and then it's just continued to go. So that's actually hit the top of middle and off. And Southey looks quite refreshed bowler, doesn't he? He's running in quite hard and he's got a wee bit more pace to him. I might be doing him a favour saying that, but I just sense that he's just bowling just a little smidgen quicker, and there's enough nip there and movement to the ball right through Samaya.
His whole series is and against India did very well, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right. And look, you can see old umpire Roy there. He got the bail and it was way down here. Now that's quite unusual again for Southey. Maybe it just hit it on the right angle, but it's gone well past the outside the 30-metre circle, well past it. So Southey has his second wicket now over, and
first over still hasn't come to an end.
No.
Mushfiqur is into bat, so a lot will rely on him, but really when you've got a start like this, although New Zealand chasing 330 last year against England, 2 for 2.
Yep.
But I think probably the Bangladesh batting is not quite as strong as what New Zealand was able to put together on that occasion. There was partnerships with Williamson and Latham, and of course Taylor's 181. Now 3 slips in place for Southey, with still 2 balls to be bowled in this opening over. 1 for the loss of 2. Taylor, Guptill, Neesham in the slip cordon, and they're going to be watching Southey bowl to Mushfiqur Rahman. A man who will carry a lot of experience into the Test series coming up. Here's Southey. Down at the far end. In to bowl to the right-handed Mushfiqur. The first delivery has him leaving down the outside. Goes through to Latham. Excellent start for Southey. Just what you dream of as a bowler in this kind of scenario, particularly when there's 331 on the board. You're not under much threat, but there's a huge gap between bat and pad, and no footwork at all from Samaya.
Just movement in the air, and then from the surface of the pitch where it follows quite often.
Here's the next delivery from Southey, bowling to Mushfiqur, who's onto the front foot, playing out towards Santner, fielding to extra cover. The end of the first over. Southey 1 over, 2 for 1, and that's the score. In fact, it's the other way around for Bangladesh. It's 1 for 2.
Mm. And a really good, obviously a good over from Southey. He found the outside edge of Taman's bat, who was really looked to advance, and crashed the ball sort of through the offside. He gave himself even a bit of room, and Southey just pitched it wider. He could see him moving a bit early, and so he just went wider of him, and he managed to get a bat on it, and a good catch actually by Latham at sort of a shoulder height, which can be quite an awkward one, whether you come across and take it reverse cup or whether you get your hands up in the normal, and he took it the normal way, and it sort of happened all in a bit of a dream and a daze, didn't it? But then really it was a comprehensive dismissal of Samaya, the ball just coming back and starting it outside off, bringing it back into the left-hander, and they're having it carry on and just nothing impeding its progress to the stumps.
Bolt with the second over, bowls to Dash, and this one is full of length on leg stump, turned away towards mid-wicket, but it's fielded by de Grandhomme, and there's no run. 1 for 2, chasing 331, and Bolt, who generally bowls the first over, has had to concede to Tim Southey.
Henry bowled the first one.
Yeah.
Didn't he? So in other words, it's the even end from this end, and that means you might bowl the 50th.
Bolt goes up again to Dash, the right hand. And this one is on the off stump, pushed away towards cover, but it's fielded there by Nisham. There's no run. So New Zealand had a quality innings in the middle stages. They were held to 4 and under 4 for a period of time. But as they picked up the tempo, the likes of Taylor, who passed his 8,000th run in one-day cricket and went on to become the highest run scorer in one-day cricket for New Zealand. Bolt bowls to Dash, turn on the onside, through mid-wicket, chase for de Grandhomme. I'll get one. I'm going to think about the second. No, says the call. De Grandhomme's got a powerful arm from that area of the ground, mid-wicket towards the boundary, and they get just the one. 2 for 2.
Yeah, good chase from de Grandhomme, and then a quick turn and throw, and an accurate one too, right beside the stumps. And that's exactly what New Zealand want to continue to do here. They've had a good pace to their innings. They got through to 330, building as you go. Just that one little period between 10 and 20, a little bit low, but other than that, very good.
Bolt to Mushfiqar, who's onto the front foot, driving square out to Nisham, who's in that area. They've left the extra cover position open, so Nisham is just forward of point, Nichols is just backward of point. Then there's a long gap round to Santner fielding at mid-off, and with the length that Bolt generally bowls at, he's asking them to
it's an invitation, and if I can get it to come back in, I'll bowl.
Next delivery to Mushfiqar, who plays defensively, goes into the offside. Once more it's Nisham, who's in quickly to do the fielding. There's a third man in place. That's Munro. Southey's headed off down towards long leg to have a drink and do his fielding there for a while. Of course, you often see him popping up in the slip court. Such an effective slip fieldsman. There's the two men outside the circle. Bolt to Mushfiqar, and this one driving up to mid-off, fielded there by Mitchell Santner. The end of the second over. One run coming from it, 2 for 2.
I'm Sam Desone from the Vodafone Warriors. We take plenty of big hits on the field. Tackle busts, hit ups, dump tackles. But when we get behind the wheel of our cars, we always use the seatbelt. Because impacts on the road, that's next level. Seatbelts save lives. From Auckland Transport and New Zealand Police.
Radio Sport.
2 for 2. Southey just checking with Captain Latham, who has to run from his wicket-keeping position up to the bowler, and then he stayed down there, of course, because he was at the end of the ground. Then he has to trot up to take the position behind the stumps. 2 for 2. The target is 331. New Zealand in dominant form of the bat. Their batsmen were under pressure for the first 20 overs or so to try and lift the run rate up to a standard above 4. Here's Southey bowling to Mushfiqar, taking on the pad. Appeal for LBW given. In fact, it's Dash. Just shuffled across the crease. Been taken on the pad. He's going down to have a look with the Mushfika, but I fear for Lytton Dash that he may well have been trapped in front. There was just a shuffle across the crease. They're still discussing it. They're going to have to run out of time in a minute. They're going to challenge. Oh, I fear that might be a wasted challenge.
I thought it just kept a little bit low too, Brian, and it's beaten the defence, but after challenging for it, Lytton Dash is...
He's walking off, is he?
Yeah. Well, what's he doing that for? Or is that...
He's been given out. And I don't know that there's too much... He's walked off. I'm sure they put up a challenge, but... Run out of time. Is that what the problem was? It may well have been. They took a long time to do it. And he's out for one. It's 2 for 3.
Well, it was kind of leg stump. And Lytton Dash, let's make it clear, Lytton Dash is not much taller than the stumps. And so, you know, it was always going to threaten them, I think, even though it was hitting up sort of just around about knee roll or maybe just above. I think its height would have been okay. And the question was whether it was actually attacking the stumps. But of course, once it's given out, you've only got to just nick the stumps once it's given out on the field.
I don't think the review would have been supportive anyway, was it? I haven't actually seen it. It looked pretty plumb as Mamadula comes out. I think it's time we did our quiz too, I suppose. We're running out of time. I was going to push it a little bit later, but 5:09 for our trivia quiz to try and get into the draw to go to the Boxing Day test in Melbourne later this year. I have a question during this over for you, and you know the rules. 5:09 is where you text. You've got to put in the MCG as the qualifying tag. Give us your answer and your name, and we'll have that question for you in just a moment. 5:09, the Boxing Day test trivia question. Here's Southey wide of the crease to Mamadula, left the lane down towards wicketkeeper Latham. So here we go. The highest partnership in New Zealand one-day cricket at this venue, University Oval, is 267. It's held by Grant Elliott and one other player. Who is the other player? 267 was the partnership. New Zealand against Sri Lanka. And the review would have failed poor old Lytton Dash, because he's just been given out again. Southey bowls again to Mamadula, and this one has him leaving the delivery again. Good leave through to wicketkeeper Latham. So the highest partnership on this ground in one-day cricket is 267, held by Grant Elliott and another player. Who was that other player? 5:09 MCG, the qualifying words. Give us your answer. You've got it out, and at 4:30, if the innings are still together, we will give you the winner of the draw. So you got plenty of time. I'm sure everybody knows how to look it up. Here's the Southey bowls to Mamadula, and Yorker Link's delivery has him digging it out and playing back along the pitch to the bowler.
Yeah, Southey's got it coming out quite nicely today out of the hand, and there is some little bit of swing movement for him, and it's making the Bangladesh bats, causing most of them all the problems, is that movement, and he's beaten the bat of number 3 and number 4 as well.
Southey up from the southern end, wide of the crease, bowls to Mamadula, left the lane as it goes through to wicketkeeper Latham. Remains 2 for 3. Southey has 3 for 1. Perfect start. Well, talking about partnerships, they're going to need at least 267 between this pair to get even close. One fears for the Bangladesh batsman at the moment. In the third over, already 2 for the loss of 3. Lockie Ferguson's getting a bit itchy. Am I going to get a bowl? He's down at long leg. Nice to see him have a bowl very shortly. Southey bowls to Namadula, who squares around playing his defensive stroke full of length. Well bowled by Southey. Brilliant over. 2 overs, 1 maiden, 3 for 1. Gets applause for that. That has been an outstanding start for Tim Southey, who's had to wait for his chance in this series. 331 is the target. It's a long way off.
Yeah, well, Dash, if you remember back, he I think was bowled by Henry in between bat and pad, just sort of shuffling around the crease line, and in game 1, and then in game 2 he tried to loft one over from Henry as well, and was caught by mid-on. A good catch by Jimmy Neesham, I think it was.
Here's Bolt bowling to Mushfiqur, and this delivery is left down the offside. There's good pace and bounce for the bowlers at this stage. New Zealand would have had that opportunity had they bowled first, but they've probably done themselves favours in this game by, well, losing the toss. They didn't do much about it, but they were put into bat and it's done them a favour.
Absolutely, that's what they needed. They needed to go through a whole 50 overs of a bit of pressure with the bat, and they managed to do that, and all the batsmen have got a bit of a hit, which is again, it's the perfect kind of scenario for this New Zealand side, and they all batted with some discipline.
Bolt from the broadcasting end goes into Mushfiqur. This delivery has him leaving. This goes through to Latham, but again he's taking it above waist high. So Bolt generating good pace, good bounce. So too we've seen from Southey.
I guess you might say you don't often see scoreboards, but perhaps a fairly low percentage of the time where a lot of the batsmen, get a start, but don't go on 29, 64, 69, 50 odd, 59, 37. You normally get different looking.
Bolt to Mushfiqur, who guides the ball away to Nichols at backward point in this no run.
Scoreboards where the bulk of the runs reside in 1 or 2 batsmen who once they get a chance make the most of it, and they go on to the 80s and the 90s and so on and beyond. But this wasn't the case today, and as I say, you don't see quite so many scoreboards where everybody gets and makes a contribution.
Bolt heads off to Mushfiqur. He's taken on the pad, might have hit it as well, as the appeal is stifled, and Bolt goes after the ball to get it in case they thought of taking a run. At this stage, taking a run is probably the furthest from their mind. Well, it highlights there's no dominant score, but if everybody does their job of getting 50 or 60, you get a good total. 330.
Oh, there's plenty of ways you can get to 330 out there, but normally what tends to happen is that one guy will tend to be the bulk of the innings, and that's why if you get to a certain point, you want to go on.
Bolt to Mushfiqur, who looks to try and smash this through the offside, frustrated that nothing's happening for them at the moment, and with that bounce he wants to try and force the pace, not successfully. 2 for the loss of 3.
Well, Ross Taylor, get ready, stand by your bed. You go to play strokes like that, Bolt not giving him too much room, Mushfiqur, keeping it in nice and close to that off stump.
Bolt goes up again from our broadcasting end over the wicket to Mushfiqur. This one has him almost playing it down under his stumps. Just a dead bat, soft hands, defensive prod, and it goes down to his feet. I was a bit concerned for a moment that it was going to go back onto his stumps, but the over comes to an end. 4 bowls, 2 for 3.
When it comes to the best range of safety gear and workwear, and the best deals on safety gear and workwear, there's only one name you can count on. SafeWorks! Rest assured, all SafeWorks safety gear is tough, robust and up to date, and all approved by the recognised standards authorities. Contact SafeWorks now. A specialist will visit you to work out the right safety gear for your line of work. SafeWorks, 3 branches, Auckland-wide and online.
Radio Sports, Summer of Cricket with Resine Cool Colour. Paint that helps your home stay cooler.
Southey bowls to Mamadula, who leaves the delivery down the offside, and that's a good line, there or thereabouts. So one of those deliveries that was there almost as attempted of the batsman to go after, but just wide enough for him to hold his discipline. At the moment, discipline is more important than anything else, I think, for the 2 batsmen, Mamadula and Mushfiqur.
Yeah, they've got to know exactly where the off stump is. They've got to go forward if the ball is pitched up. They can't afford to stay on the crease line. This pitch, I think, will suit someone like Southey.
Yeah, it's next delivery to, well, it's wide down the leg side, sure, yes. Called wide. That was attempted bouncer. A little bit too wide down the leg side.
Don't
3 for 3.
He needs that, Brian. I just think he's well on top at the moment, Southey. Just keep it there, keep it there. They're looking to play defensive shots, not attack him at the moment. And he's got the ball swinging a little bit. He's already got wickets to his favour, so I don't see any reason. You can use the crease if you like, but keep the same pace up, keep moving it, and that's about all the variations you require.
Southey up from the southern end, bowls to Mamadula, who's taken on the power LBW appeal. Umpire Knights looks and says no. Latham's coming forward to Southey and say, do we want to have a look at it? And yeah, they're going to challenge. They might as well. They're right on top. He's been given not out, so if it's only partially hitting, it's in the batsman's favour, but we will get a chance to have a look at that.
There's a question in your mind where it pitched?
I sense it might have been just going down myself, but he did move across the crease.
Yeah, well, he's certainly beating the bat, isn't he? Of all the batsmen coming out again, a nice seam presentation, and it's just that one doesn't really tell us the line of the ball, but it says that there's
it's leg stump if it's hitting anything.
Yeah,
and
that's
where
right.
It pitched, and a little nick is on the bat on the pad.
Yeah, there's no. I don't think there's any bat on the ball at all.
So whether he's done it on that or whether he's done it on where it pitched, where its line was.
Yeah.
But there certainly should be no snicko. The ball's gone straight into the pad. That's the noise that would have been heard.
Well, if there's a snicko, it will be from the bat hitting the pad, won't it? If it's prior to the ball arriving to the big thud on the pad.
Yes, it goes back into the bat from the pad, doesn't it? Marais Erasmus is the man who is making the judgment from the television replay.
Certainly the height is well below the knee roll of the pad. Hardly getting anything forward, just the line of the ball here. Has it straightened sufficiently? Oh dear.
I think it has.
I think
it's within the line.
Might straighten that leg stump.
Yes, yeah, on-field call, impact, and on-field call.
Not out. So it's
so
it's less than half the ball. Less than half the ball hitting the stump.
So New Zealand doesn't lose its review apparently in that scenario. So 3 for 3 it remains, and Southey will have another crack. Tim Southey's just gone to a chat with umpire Wayne Knights, and
you should have given that out, Wayne.
Looked out to me.
Then we'd be in business, and I'd have another wicket.
Well, he's got 3 for 2 at the moment. Both of those are wides. Southey, in bright sunny conditions from the southern end, bowls to Mamadula, finding his bat on ball, plays it up towards mid-on. Purely defensive. Fieldsman there is Munro. So if you want to join the exodus to the Boxing Day test later in this year, there's going to be a few people lined up for it. Not everyone's going to go. There's going to be one drawn out, but we'll draw one out today if you know the answer to the question. The highest partnership in New Zealand one-day cricket at this ground, University Oval, 267, held by Grant Elliott and one other player. Put that in your answer, who the other player is. 5009, MCG is the qualifying word, and get it into us. Here's Southey, bowls a bouncer, and ducking underneath it as it goes over the top of the leg stump. So, not a hard question. Partnership of 267, 4 years ago it was, here at University Oval. Who was in partnership with Grant Elliott on that day? 5009. 3 slips in place. There's a backward point, forward a point, extra cover, mid-on. Southey from the far end, bowling to Mamadula, and he gets one down leg side, quarter wide, not taken cleanly by the diving Latham, and it's gone down for 5 wides. So it's all wides at the moment from Southey. He's got 3 for 8 now, 3 for 7. Sorry, 3 for 7. And it's an area that was of concern in the last game. 17 wides. Well, they're already up to 6.
The ball is swinging. Sometimes that can happen a wee bit. That was an in-swinger and just kept on going.
Southey too. Amadulli uses his feet and tries to slog it over extra cover. Makes no contact. Wide down the offside as it goes through to wicketkeeper Latham. 331 is the target. 8 for 3 Bangladesh. Guptill 29. Munro 8. Nichols 64. Taylor, the highlight of the day, 69, becoming the highest run scorer in one-day cricket for New Zealand, averaging 48. Latham 59, sparkling innings from him, some big hitting from Neesham 37, de Gronholm 37, Santner 16. Southey bowls to Mamadula, who's squared around as he plays defensively out towards cover where it's fielded, and the end of an entertaining over. Not many runs coming from it, a couple of wides, and the score 8 for 3 at the end of 5. Southey 3 overs, 1 maiden, 3 for 7. 331 is the target, long way off for Bangladesh, who are 8 for 3.
Really good start from both ends, from the New Zealanders, the 2 senior and experienced bowlers. Southey, who's getting the ball to swing away from the right-handed batsman, being particularly difficult to get bat on for the majority of the Bangladesh batsmen, and the other end, Bolt, who's probably a bit quicker than Southey and quite lively and slippery and skiddy bowler, getting it through. And there's a stroke from Mushfiqur at last. He's been trying to get hold of Bolt, and he's just got enough width that he went with that width and has crashed it over backward point for 4. No one back there or in third man. They're all in attacking fielding positions. So that's a boundary, and the first boundary to the Bangladesh, and in fact maybe the first run off the bat for Bangladesh in what is the 6th over. All the rest are wides, I think.
Here's Bolt running away from us again, and there's a no. I was going to say there's a catch that's gone through to Taylor, but successive boundaries as Mushfiqur pushes at a ball. Taylor's dived. Don't know if he's got a hand. Yes, he has, and he might well have split a finger. He's got his little finger on his left hand taped as it is, and may well, I think, Jeremy have dug it into the ground as opposed to. Yes, he didn't get anywhere near the ball, and he's dug that left hand, the little finger of his left hand, into the ground. The successive boundaries for Mushfiqur, he's 8, and Bangladesh 16 for the loss of 3. And
yeah, well, 2 batsmen with sore fingers actually. Two players, not just Taylor, who's now looking to go off, I think, at this stage. You're right, it's not the hand that he would have taken the catch, and it's the other one that he's kind of tried to lift himself to move himself along. And then, of course, the batsman Mushfiqur has taken that on the finger as well, the bottom finger of the on the bat, and so he's having some attention. So we'll have a break if we can.
I'll tell you what, we'll have a break.
At Magnus Benro, we're always adapting to change.
Because technology's changing all the time.
That's right, Andrew. So I was thinking, what about a change in slogan?
Like what?
Magnus Benro. Legit appliances, legit...
Too soon, Dad.
Magnus Benro. You've done it again, Ro.
No.
You got any other bright ideas?
A jingle.
Magnus, do you have a fridge?
Magnus Benro.
Yes, sir, yes. Sir. 3 stores full.
Some things just don't change.
Radio Sport.
Still players being attended to on the field. I think Taylor's okay, but Mushfiqur getting some attention, just being taken on the fingers of the bottom hand by Bolt, and Southee and Bolt looking much more threatening than any of the Bangladesh batsmen. 16 for 3, wickets falling at 0, 1 and 2. Tamim caught behind by Latham off just the second ball, slashing at a ball from Southee. He was out for no score. Samaya was bowled by Southee in the same over for no score, but he bowled a wide by that stage, so it became 2 for 1, and then it was 3 for 2 with Das bowled in the third over by Southee. Southee's second. Das was leg before wicket to Southee, and it looked for all money as if he thought about revising, and he may well have done, but it must have been past the time because they were told that time had run out, and the dash left the ground. So Tamim no score, Samaya 0 and Dash 1. Mushfiqur is 8, 2 boundaries, the last 2 balls he's faced. Mahmudullah has faced 11 deliveries, yet to get underway. Southee 3 overs, 1 maiden, 3 for 7. One stage he had 3 for 2. And all of the runs that have come from Southee are wides. And Bolt 2 overs and 2 balls, 1 maiden, and he has none for 9. He had a single taken by Dash in his first over, and then successive boundaries in this over. So Mushfiqur is risen off his knees and looks as though he's set to resume. Lovely scene here at the University of Otago Oval. Sunlit afternoon, good crowd on the bank. The Village Green, which is a Forsyth Bar or Dunedin Venues operation, just away to our right over the back of the Sargood Centre, the old art gallery which was built initially for the 1925-26 South Seas exhibition. A building that had a shelf life of 10 years, so has now done 90 and is hanging in there.
It's a big shelf.
It's a big shelf. There's about 300 or 400 people out the back just watching screens and listening to the radio and enjoying the Compass Catering magnificent food from Chef Michael Tomlinson and co. They're having a great time in the heat as Bolt bowls to Mahmudullah, and this one he leaves. Good pace, good bounce through around about chest height to Latham, who has 2 slips beside him. So there's a really good atmosphere. Mushfiqur is just recovering slowly from that blow to the fingers. The wind here, interesting, it started as a gentle southwesterly today. It swung It's swung round now 180 degrees to northeast, calm in between times. He's bowled left arm over and driving at a ball is Mushfiqur down to the boundary for 4 at third man. Well, why not?
Well,
why not?
I guess so. Anything that's up close to him with a little bit of width, certainly Mushfiqur is interested in having a real crack at it. So far he's got one of them properly, which raced away. It was the first ball, raced away to backward point, and the second one almost to catch through to Ross Taylor, and that one's an edge as well.
Well, they're back to 2 slips for Bolt, and he pulls the ball short into the mid-wicket region, fielded by de Grandhomme, and there is no run. Feels as though he's missed out there, does Mushfiqur, but they had 2 slips. And after that, in the last over for Bolt, they moved up to from second slip out to a short wicket region.
Like Taylor's back on the field as well, doesn't he, at slip? So, but 2 slips now. He's got an addition of a friend there on his right.
Guptill crouched there beside him as Bolt bowls, defending off the back foot, just walking slightly into it. It's Mushfiqur, and the end of an eventful over. 3 boundaries to Mushfiqur, 12 runs to Bangladesh. They're 20 for the loss of 3. Mushfiqur had all of those runs to his credit. 12 from 17. Mahmudullah none from 11. Southey 3 for 7. Bolt yet to take a wicket.
Well, I can understand Bolt continuing with that line, even though he was hit, backward point quite comfortably the first ball. It was a thrashing kind of attacking shot, but Mushfiqur was out playing off an inside edge, exactly that kind of ball in the last match at Hagley Oval, and he played it back into his stumps, and so Bolt's continuing with that. If he can get a little bit of movement, it'll just perhaps create that difference of getting perhaps lower on the bat and also more near the inside edge and have it come off an angle maybe that may threaten the stumps. Two of the strokes for the boundaries in the last over were somewhat fortuitous, I would have to say. So
he still doesn't look comfortable.
No, he doesn't.
He's had some more treatment.
He's had treatment to his throat this time. He's lubricated his throat there nicely. But Southey's come back after a break of only, I think he played 1 match of the 4 against India.
He's charging in past umpire Knights, and he bowls to Mahmudullah. Looks to take it down the leg side. He's taken on the pad and coming across to his left. And it was rolling very slowly to him as Latham, who's taken already in this innings a very sharp catch. So a real test here for New Zealand. South has given them a flyer, but they'll still want to ensure that their economy and their penetration, their concentration, the pressure that they can create is maintained, and probably doubly difficult from the fact that they are so much in control at the moment as Mahmudullah defends, and back on the onside of the pitch coming in from mid-on is Munro, and there is no run.
Yeah, well, Southey's generally kept it pretty full, and he has got some movement while this ball is still relatively due. So if he can just keep up the pace, I think that's been the thing that I've noticed. We've always known he can swing the ball away slightly, but if he can keep up the extra little bit of nip, if you like, that he's showing or has shown so far.
He's just pushing into a gentle northeasterly, and he's been belted for 6. He's dropped it short, and getting inside the line of the ball is Mahmudullah, and he's hoisted that over the boundary by some length at backward square, and I don't think that's hit anybody. The crowd still watching.
No, that's smashed. That's been dropped actually by a man in a Hawaiian shirt, unbuttoned.
But he's okay. He's disappeared. The crowd's all looking. So 6 runs to Mahmudullah. so he's underway. And it's 26 for the loss of 3 as Southey again wide of the crease this time. There's a single as Mamadula takes it off his hip nicely out through square leg. Coming in from the boundary is de Gronholm. And there is one more to Mamadula. 27 for 3. Still more than 300 runs away. Warren Lees, you felt that 280 onwards was a bridge too far. Those last 50 odd runs.
Yeah, the mental side of 300 plus. If you went back to 300, then came back another 20, at least it was like unlikely, but a chance. But mentally, no.
Southey has Mushfiqi defending into the offside, and there is no run. So perhaps 50 runs too many, and then suddenly you're 2 for 3.
Yeah. There's two sides the two sides came out of the dressing room, and one was the fielding side, Southey saying, "Hey, come on, we're really going to get into this," and it was a bit of a choice between who and Bolt, who was going to, because that's what happens quite often, who's going to take the wickets today and who's going to bowl well. And there was the other side, the batting side, who came out saying, "We don't know if we can do this. In fact, we're pretty sure we can't."
And now we know. Southey bowls us down the leg side. Another wide will be called by umpire Knight. So Southey's just letting himself down here. He's bowled 4 wides now, 3 wides in fact, which one of them went for 4, didn't they? So he's bowled 4 wides, and that's doubled with the boundary.
Yes.
So just a little bit errant. So another delivery remaining in Southey's 4th over, the 7th of the innings. 28 for 3. Southey wide of the crease, and as a wicket as Mushfiqi just pushes at a ball, gets an inside edge, and it bounces over the top of leg stump. So Southey's over has come to an end. 4 gone. He is 3 for 15. 7 completed for the Bangladeshis, and they're in real trouble at 28 for 3.
Hey, here's a tip to help improve our waterways.
Get out of it, Storm.
Be like Ben here.
Hey, no.
He's fixing his motorbike.
Get out of it.
So he's put a drop sheet down on the concrete in case he spills oil or other chemicals. No. And if you do spill anything, use rags or paper to clean it up instead of water, so that the chemicals don't get flushed into our drains, rivers and oceans.
Give the rag back, Storm. Then we get off the tub.
See more tips and do your bit at thevisionisclear.co.nz. Powered by Dairy NZ.
Good boy, Stormy.
Radio Sports Summer of Cricket with Photo Warehouse. Locally owned and nationwide. The photo store with more.
Bowl's about to resume at the University of Otago Oval, bowling from the commentary end, Caledonian end of the slutty ground. Mushfiqi at the non-striker's end, watching as Mamadula takes strike. Left arm over the wicket is bowled. It's a short delivery. Going underneath it is Mamadula. No signal from the umpire at square leg. Happy enough that it wasn't high enough to be called wide. So that investigation of the concentration, I think, will be the interesting thing for New Zealand. Warren, even if they can't take wickets, can they continue to create pressure, turn this into a situation, World Cup, whereby a team is a lot closer to the run tally than perhaps was the case here, as Bolt has a shot from Mamadula squaring up, playing out towards point, no run.
Yeah, I don't really know that they can. I think different bowlers, bringing on different players brings a bit of new concentration and new enthusiasm to the bowling attack. But I think I've seen enough from Southey's got his 3 wickets, but the wides, I don't, as I said earlier on the day, I don't know that he'd bowl those wides against Australia, South Africa, England or whoever.
Bolt again, that lovely lithe approach of his, as Mamadula driving down to mid-on, fielded there by Nisham, Ferguson in fact, no run.
And it may be rather subconsciously rather than deliberately doing it, 3 wickets. We've got the top 3, and now without knowing, I'll just try and swing it a wee bit more, or I'll just try and angle that one back. And those wides, he's bowling more with his arm than with his full body, and he's not following through. Well, perhaps he's not concentrating just the way he should.
Bolt has Mamadula squaring up, and it's come off the shoulder of the bat, flowing down through the gully. There's no one there, down to third man for a single. So a little fortunate there, squared up, undone, lost his poise. And the ball was in the air. It would have been an easy catch for the gully fieldsman, but he was absent. Mamadula is 8, Bangladesh now 29.
So when Southee bowls his little outswinger, and we've seen numerous little outswingers in this innings so far, he follows through a good 2 or 3 steps further than when he bowls those balls down leg side, because he's not.
Bowled again, and a single here to Mushfiqur. Chance of a run out non-strikers in, not a serious opportunity. It's just tucked around the field, chasing it across the infield, inside the circle is Gronholm. Has a dart at the stumps at the non-strikers end, but the batsmen were always in control. Mushfiqur to 13 and Bangladesh to 30.
So the wide he bowled towards the end of the last over, he only followed through 2 or 3 steps from the crease, from his delivery stride, and it's because he's angry, he's leant over to bowl into the leg stump a little bit, and he's not bowling with his whole action.
Well, Bolt is, he's getting very good carry, just a little bit of movement in the air. This is wide and not tempted. Mamadula leaves well enough alone, and it's the end of a useful over from Trent Bolt. Just 2 runs coming from it, so he's now completed 4. Like Southee has bowled a maiden, and like Southee has given up 15 runs, but Southee has the 3 wickets, so none for 15 of 4 bowled. And if you've just joined us, the New Zealand team asked to bat first after Bangladesh won the toss. 330 for 6, Nichols 64, Latham 59, Ross Taylor, the undoubted highlight, 69, middling score for him, but when he reached 51, he passed Stephen Fleming as the most prolific one-day batsman for New Zealand, with 8,008 runs at that point, and he went past by about another 15 runs. Interestingly, since the 1st of January last year, Ross Taylor has been in sublime form. Counting today, 21 innings, 1,232 runs, 8 50s, 300s. Here's Southee, bowls to Mushfiqur, lays it off to point, but there was no run. So 8 50s, 300s, 1,232 runs at a touch over. Well, he dropped today, he was 83, so he dropped it down to about 82, maybe 81.7.
And no matter what cricket around the world is played and against different teams of A level, B level, C level, you could hardly find a player in that time capsule you've just told us about who could equal what he's done.
No, and very good backup from Latham, from Guptill and from Williamson with Southee. Short of a length and looking to flat bat it through the offside. Mushfiqur gets a bottom edge and it bounces out towards points. So New Zealand, that top order, so vital. You can see it from those statistics, just how important they are, both individually and collectively. We've seen some very good partnerships over the last 18 months or so, especially between Latham and Taylor. Case in point here last year, chasing 335, 2 for 2, and that pair got New Zealand through. Southee has Mushfiqur just taken one off his hip out through mid-wicket. There's time for a run. There's no fieldsman inside the circle on the leg side. and a single to Mushfiqur. He's 14, and Bangladesh rather limping along, and this the 9th over at 31 for 3. They need a further 300 runs from here.
It's amazing, see, when you watch people and you see the different body language. When you get hit on the hand and it's really ringing and it's really sore, why does it make you limp when you're running? It does.
Southey wide of the crease, down the leg side, another wide. Good tumbling save by Latham.
See how he
falling
lets
away.
it go and his hand doesn't go down the side, across his body, the outswings action, and it stops there. Sorry, I'm explaining it as if you're watching, but he's not following through correctly. That's right.
Falling away.
And he falls away on his delivery stride when those balls happen. When he gets in close to the umpire, that's naturally is going to be his outswing.
So where's he going this time? Just a little closer to the stumps this time, and he has Mabadula driving, but only to cover.
And that ball there, he followed through almost halfway down the pitch, and the ball before, he was probably only 2 or 3 steps from the bottom.
Chance to take a trip, and I assume it's for 2 people to the Boxing Day test. Brian, is it?
Can two of us win it, Brian?
2 people go to the Boxing Day. 1 person. Nigel, no friends.
It's a partnership.
Good heavens. Text 5009. New Zealand's highest partnership in one-day cricket is here at the University Oval. 267. Next delivery is defender. That's my phone in the background. It'll stop shortly. 267 is the record partnership for New Zealand here at the University Oval, held by Grant Elliott and 1 other player. Text 5009. 4 years ago against Sri Lanka.
You're right, it stopped. Jeremy's standing on it.
I thought I turned it down too. I think it did. Here's Southey. That wind just getting up a little bit as he bowls to Mamadula, who advances. And hoists him over the infield and out to the boundary at mid-wicket for 4. Good solid end of the over for Bangladesh. Mamadula is 12 now, and at the end of the over, the 9th, Bangladesh chasing 331, 36 for 3.
At Mitre 10, you can earn Airpoints dollars and spend them too. Yep. Whether you're shopping in store or online, spend $75 or more and pay for all of it or part of it with your Airpoints dollars. That means you could be a lot closer to that special something for the house, garden or deck that you've been eyeing up. So get that Airpoints card into your wallet right now. Get it done right with Mitre 10. T's, C's and exclusions apply. See online or in store for details.
Radio Sport.
Warren Lees has just asked a valid question. More treatment for Mushfiqur, who was hit on the fingers by Trent Bolt a couple of overs ago. The limp has gone, but the fingers are sore. Yeah, he's not happy. There's a close-up shot on television, grimacing. So it wouldn't surprise me, Warren, to see him leave. In fact, he's missed the... Oh no, that was the run down through the gully. It's obviously jarred his fingers, so the injury may well be serious. We shouldn't make light of it. 36 for 3 as the Bolt forces him on to the back foot, and then bottom hand wrenched away with some speed and another grimace.
Very, very hard to bat when you're crying, I promise you. It really is. And we're not making light of it because it does look like he's in some pain, and I think surely batting on in this and perhaps further damaging thumb, finger or whatever it is.
Test match starting towards the end of next week.
Yeah.
Here's Bolt close to the stumps, he bowls, and Mushfiqur drives in the air out over the covers. It's going to pitch and not quite get to the boundary. They've run 2 only. That's poor running, and it was a shot of desperation. He picks up 2, moves to 16, Bangladesh onto 38. So if you're thinking of going to the Boxing Day test, get in. Text 5009. Highest partnership in New Zealand one-day cricket is here at the University Oval, worth 267. It's held by Grant Elliott and one other player. Who is that player? Text MCG and then the player's name to 5009 as Bolt bowls to Bushkroon. He's going to have a single. Takes it off his hip and then rings the hand, and the snap through for a single, and the limp has come back. So Bushwicker 18 now, and it's a 17 in fact, on to 39. We auctioned a Boxing Day test package at the Otago Medical Research Foundation, a night to remember on Friday night. Went for $7,500. 2 people going. 2 people.
That's worthy.
Flights, match pass, in behind the bowler's arm, level 3 at the MCG. 5-star accommodation. Boys Trip. Boystrip.co.nz. That's where you want to look. It's the next delivery from Mamadula. From Bolt was taken by Mamadula around the corner. But it's interesting, isn't it? People well remember, people who weren't even alive. And Kane Williamson wasn't born the last time New Zealand played a Boxing Day test at the MCG. It was way back in 1987. They still remember Hadley and Morrison bowling to McDermott and Whitney. They still remember Dick Fritsch, the umpire, refusing to give McDermott out to Morrison. And they weren't even there.
No, there's certain things that have always happened in Australian and New Zealand games that people are going to remember forever, even if they weren't there. It comes up, doesn't it? I mean, the underarm came up the other day, obviously, but when the underarm came up, the catches that Snedden took came up as well. Yes. And it's funny, you sort of forget some of the things that happened.
And that was the Greg Dyer non-catch, Andrew Jones in that test match in 87.
I was involved. I don't know how that was, to be honest. But
here's Bolt. And this ball's gone high in the air. Somebody's going to get underneath it. Monroe coming in from third man and takes the catch. Bushwicker's gone. Probably just as well. He's looked to get inside. Delivery from Bolt and hit it out through mid-wicket, and it's flown high, and Monroe has come in from third man on the boundary and taken a steepler about 20 metres in. A thick edge. That's gone really high. The wind would have been something difficult to negotiate as well, and that's a good catch by Monroe.
Yeah, very good catch and a desperation shot, really. I mean, he's injured, he's got a sore hand, he got the ball the length he wanted, but he didn't really pick the width, and it was the width that took it and carried it down to third man. Very, very good catch, very, very high in the air, and another wicket for Bangladesh, and in real dire straits now.
They are 40 for 4 and not yet at the end of the power play in
Driving on an expressway or in a passing lane? Move to the left-hand lane unless you're passing. The right-hand lane is only for when you or others want to pass. So move left, let others pass, and everyone can get to where they're going.
Rush into the warehouse, then wake up relaxed in a plush microfiber queen sheet set for only $29. Kick back in a comfy camping moon chair now only $49, and cozy up a new lightweight knitwear from $15. The warehouse, low prices every day. Conditions apply.
Remember, training at the club starts at 5:30. Don't be late.
I'm late for a reason, Richard. Takes so bloody long to load my figures from the last week.
Mate, you need to get onto NetSpeed. I'm getting better internet speed than my brother in town, and 3 times the data we used to have.
NetSpeed 3G and 4G rural broadband is available across the country. No phone line needed. NetSpeed local operators know what's possible in your area. NetSpeed Rural Broadband. Phone 0800 638 773. NetSpeed 0800 638 773.
Radio Sports Summer of Cricket with Razine Colour Shop for expert paint and colour advice.
Shabir, the new batsman, but he was the non-striker's end as Bolt completed his 5th over. Mamadullah took strike, is on 13, and 10 overs completed. 40 for the loss of 4. Southey 5 overs 1 maiden, 3 for 21. Bolt 5 overs 1 maiden, 1 for 19, and 40 for 4 in pursuit of 331. 40 overs remaining, and there's a fair bit still to do. We're going to see Southey continue. Yes, he's going to continue and bowl 6 overs, and that seems to be very much the way of things these days. Munro was looking up under the sun at that one, a very difficult catch, just as well he's got the sunglasses on, but very hard to look up into the sun. So a good catch taken, positioned himself well. Southey 3 for 21 to continue, and he's going to be bowling to Shabir, who's about to take his first delivery. 3 slips still in place for Southey, coming up from the southern end to the right-handed Shabir. Turns it off his pads, or off his body. It was a little more than pad height. It was more up around about waist high, but he turned it down towards mid-wicket where it was fielded by de Grandhomme. 40 for 4. Desperate straights for Bangladesh.
Long way to go, Brian. Long way to go to get to anywhere near the total.
Mushfiqur is still talking in the dressing room. Looks like to the physio perhaps, or somebody else about his hand. Probably needs it to be looked at. Southey wide of the crease, bowls to Shabir, who defends out into the offside where it's fielded. Looks of concern through his teammates, the coach Steve Rhodes sitting there. Mushfiqur is looks like he's almost pleading to go to
anywhere,
the hospital, to have his hand looked at. He's not too happy. Southey bowls again to the right-handed Shabir, who gets a short ball, pulls it away down towards long leg, and dropped. Gone for 6. Went to the hands of Ferguson. He was close to the boundary, and he got it in his hands, but spilt it. It's gone over the boundary for 6. And so a wicket denied and a 6 added. And not an easy position for a fieldsman down there deep. He's right on the boundary rope. He can't step back too far, which he would have liked to have done. He had to stretch out and try and take the catch. He had it in his hand and then just spilt it over the boundary for 6.
Yeah, as he sort of went around the boundary, he didn't have to go very far because the ball came flat. He was 1 step short, which put him a wee bit off balance, didn't it, really?
Yes. Southey bowls again to Shabir. Back cuts down towards third man, chasing it down towards the boundary, but it'll go for 4. That's a very short area down there, and once the ball is past the inner circle, it races off down towards the boundary. So 10 runs from 2 deliveries. That's the 50 posted by Bangladesh. Shabir is 10 from 4. Mamadullah 13. They're 50 for 4.
Those last 2 deliveries from Southey might just prove to be 1 over too many, perhaps. Both short, both sitting up. One on the leg side, turned around, and the drop catch allowed us. And of course 1 wide of the off stump.
Southey in from the far end, bowling to Shabir, the right-hander, and this one has him defending into the onside for 1. It goes out square. It'll be fielded there in the deep by de Grandhomme.
Outstanding, Brian.
And there is a single. Yeah, well, normally you sort of have your opening bowlers go to the power play, the 10th over, and they make a change. New Zealand have changed that a little bit.
6 and 4.
Yeah, they've done 6 and 4. They've also